pastor? Oh.
For the past 7 years. I met the love of my life there. And I knew once we met that Marcus would be the one to officiate our wedding. About 3 years into our marriage, we started having a few problems because I had some medical issues, we were struggling financially, and we both, being leaders in the church, decided we need to go see our pastor for counseling. Marcus suggested that we do counseling individually before we came together to do something collaborative. So we both agreed. About 3 weeks later, I did notice that she started to seem a little bit happier, you know, better spirits. And
you thought it was working?
I thought it was working. And then a little while later, she came to me saying that she wanted to go down to Greenwood to be with her mother for the weekend. So I'm thinking, okay, baby, do what you got to do. Well, not long after that, I'm at the church going over some financial issues with the church secretary, and she hands me an invoice with my name on it for a hotel in Greenwood the same time that my wife was down there. She says Marcus gave it to her.
Wait a minute. So you found out through some church records that the church secretary gave you?
Yes, ma'am.
That your pastor had been away with your wife?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hatton, what do you say to this? Well, you took advantage of the couple seeking counseling?
Well, first of all, Your Honor, I want to apologize for being in your court today. I've been a pastor for 25 years serving the community. The deacon here and his wife are members of my congregation. Him and his wife came to me for counseling. Now, I do know the preacher, I do know the deacon, and he kind of has a little rigid personality. So I assume that we're going to have problems, considering the fact that we can't get
you can't
any
keep your
word.
Johnson and your Brook brothers,
we
brother.
Can't get any words
okay, Mr. Mayhorn. Are you denying that you had
No, I'm not
sex
denying
with his
it,
wife?
but there's an explanation for everything.
So you're not denying it?
I'm not.
You're admitting it?
I admit it.
You said there's an explanation.
There's an explanation.
What could that be, Pastor?
Well, I'm a pastor, but I am a heterosexual man. So his wife would come into these private sessions dressing very provocatively. So yeah, she caught my attention and she was flirting with me.
She is a deaconess of the church. You've seen her before that.
This is true. This is true. And this is where it comes to my apologizing for that. Also, I would have to say that I talked to the man upstairs and I begged him to understand that I saw the wrongs in my ways and please forgive me. And knowing that I am a pastor and that he is a member of my congregation, I want to do right. So I'm here saying that I am agreeing with him in terms of that, but I'm not going to, this is not him. It's his wife, Your Honor. It's that Jezebel is the reason I'm here.
You narcissistic, gaslighting son of a biscuit eater. Stop it.
Hold on. Mr. Mayhorn.
Is that the way you talk to your pastor?
You not my
or you
pastor,
talk to your friend that way?
You're not a friend.
Oh, you're not my pastor.
Let's get some order. Let's get some order. Let's get some order. So, Pastor Hatton,
yes,
you are agreeing and you are admitting that you had a sexual relationship with Mr. Mayhorn's wife.
Yes, ma'am. Sue me for something that I didn't do to him personally.
Your Honor.
He needs to sue his wife.
It's called alienation of affection.
Well, man, he needs to sue his wife. I didn't force her to have sex with me.
Well, but you were a party to it. Go back to how you found out about this, Mr. Mayhorn. How did you figure all this out?
I was working with the church secretary, Miss Betty Jones. She handed me an invoice showing that with my name on it. I do have it here for your records.
I'd like to see it.
Backstab him.
Okay. Miss Jones?
Your Honor.
Can you give me all your evidence that you brought to court, please?
Thank you.
Thank you. So this is the hotel bill?
That's also my food delivery bill, because subsequently my wife left me. She told me she didn't want to be married with me anymore. So now I got to cook for myself. I got to clean my own house.
So you don't know how to cook and clean?
You know what? Your mama.
All right. Do you have any evidence for me, sir?
Evidence in terms of what, ma'am?
Evidence that you bring to court to prove your case.
This is my word against. I already admitted that I had relations with his wife.
That's exactly right. But you said a Jezebel spirit? I thought you might have brought in
so
something
we can
to
get
prove,
into that.
to
We
prove
can
that
definitely.
you were not intentional in this. Because if you intentionally came between him and his wife, that's the basis for alienation of affection.
Well,
And now your witness is standing. I'd like to hear from her, Mr. Mayhorn. State your name for the record, ma'am.
Yes, my name is Betty Jones.
Hello, Ms. Jones. What would you like to add to this?
I would like to add that I have been the church secretary for over 25 years. Nothing comes to the church I will not see.
Okay.
So I was taken aback when this receipt came to the church, and I knew Mr. Mayhorn had not been away. The receipt was in his name, and I knew the pastor had been away.
Okay, stop. I want to understand this. You saw a receipt. Whose name was on the receipt?
The name on the receipt was Mr. Mayhorn.
Okay. So how did you come to realize that the pastor was responsible for this receipt?
Because he gave it to me.
Oh.
And I had already had an inkling that something was transpiring between the pastor and
you know, I
Mr.
can give you
Mayhorn's
just one
wife.
receipt. You are the church secretary, so you are in charge of all the receipts. And if you had any problem with anything that I did, you could have came to me. We wouldn't have been here today.
Pastor Hatton,
Yes, ma'am.
you're not giving no sermon in here, and you're definitely not yelling at no women. So bring it down a notch.
Yes, ma'am.
It was impossible for me to go to him because I had already done something amiss myself. I had been in a relationship with the pastor.
Oh, so this is jealousy.
And he promised to me that I was the only person. But when I found out I wasn't the only person, I was highly perturbed.
Well, listen, Ben, if you're going to tell the truth, tell the whole truth. The only reason you say anything to this man is because you were jealous.
No.
Because I was with his wife and not with you.
No.
Be honest.
The church secretary just said, not only are you sleeping with the deacon's wife, you were sleeping with her too. And
Yeah.
you didn't deny it.
Don't deny any of it.
What kind of pastoring are you doing?
Well, I'll say this. I'm not the first pastor you heard anything like that about.
Oh, actually you are. This is an easy case. Right?
Easy in
Because
terms
you've
of...
admitted that you slept with his wife.
Yes.
And under the law, you intentionally do that when you know they're married. You even knew their marriage was going through a bit of a rocky time. They came to you for help, for counsel. And instead, I always say this, do not seek counsel under the covers. And that's exactly where you led Ms. Mayhorn. And it is for that, it is for that reason, I'm done hearing from you. It is for that reason, it has been determined by this court that we are ruling in favor of the plaintiff for $10,000. Pay it. And if I were you, I would step down as pastor. I don't think this is a role you take seriously or you value, and God don't like ugly. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $10,000.